When a buyer or a seller is looking to hire somebody to represent them, and I mean hire a licensee who works for a licensed broker in the state, what should they be looking for? Because I think in some cases, Tammy, when people look for somebody to represent them, they're just looking for somebody who's their friend.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against my friends. I love my friends, but I would not hire a friend to represent me in a transaction where I was going to spend $700,000 or $800,000 because I wouldn't want to work with somebody. I wouldn't want to have somebody that I was not willing to get rid of, that I was not willing to fire. So what do you think buyers and sellers should be looking for before they sign brokerage relationship agreements with brokers?
I think they should be looking for an upfront conversation that hits on the obligations of one party and another. I don't believe, my personal belief is that their first conversation is, opening a door. I believe there should be some kind of just true conversation around, this is how the commission works. This is how I get paid.
Yeah.
This is my obligation to you. This is your obligation to me.
Right.
And then also a brief overview of the process. A real estate agent works a lot like a facilitator. They're not the attorney. They're not the title, escrow agent. They're not the inspector. They're not the appraiser.
Right.
But they're the facilitator who connects all those people when they need to be connected.
How many times have I had a relationship with someone professionally when that relationship was very, very important to me where I didn't fully understand what my obligations were to them and what their obligations were to me? I think it is common, and my guess is that if many people who were listening to the show thought about whether or not they truly understood their relationships with their accountant, with their doctor, with their whatever, they would say they probably don't truly understand it.
I agree. And so think about having that conversation up front. It's an uncomfortable conversation.
And for a client, kind of boring. I know it sounds terrible, but it's like, oh yeah, yawn. Why are you giving me all these details? But here's what I think would be interesting. If you had some obligations to me and you're the broker and I'm the client, and you spelled them out clearly and we got into a little bit of trouble or we got a little bit off track, me understanding what's your deal, what's my deal, how do we make this work together, that would be so important. Not that we would, by the way, stay fast friends forever. Not that we would always be on the same page, but for me to understand what you're supposed to do and what I'm supposed to do would be huge.
But when they get into this real estate process, there's a lot of money involved. And most real estate agents are uncomfortable having a conversation around the finances involved, especially when it comes to their own fee. And then when we blindside people at the closing table and they see that fee, it hurts.
Your advice is you need to work with somebody that clearly explains everything up front. And so if you get into, oh my gosh, I'm being schooled by Tammy or schooled by Cleve, you probably should embrace that because it could be something that's very, very good.
Well, very good, but an indicator that this is someone in front of you who is not afraid to have uncomfortable conversations on your behalf throughout the entire process, because negotiation is uncomfortable.
Sometimes it's more uncomfortable for one side than the other.